This is Heritage Words, a podcast about the words we've inherited from our ancestors and the meaning they bring to our lives. Heritage Words is produced by the HUC-JIR Jewish Language Project, which raises awareness about Jewish ancestral diversity through the lens of language. I'm your host, Sarah Bunin Benor. Today, we are thrilled to have, for the first time, two guests, Michal Avera Samuel and Telahun Liad Samuel, mother and son. Michal is a researcher and coordinator for the Shalom Curriculum Project at University of Wisconsin-Madison, and previously she was a senior community shlicha in Ohio. And in Israel, Michal served as the CEO of Fidel Association, advocating for the successful integration of Ethiopian Israelis, and she served on the prestigious National Roundtable Panel on Social Issues, and she was the research assistant for the Israel Democracy Institute. Telahun Liad Samuel is 19 years old, and he is currently a college student at The Ohio State University at Newark, majoring in computer science and engineering. Welcome to the show, Michal and Telahun.
Hi, Michal. How are you? It's good to be here. We are excited to be here.
Yeah. Okay, we're so glad. Now this is us.
This is also our first time doing something together, interviewing, and then we did some event together.
Yeah,
at Shabbat dinners. Yeah,
but no interviews yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm glad that we have you both. And it should be a rich conversation because we'll be going back and forth between the two of you. So let's just start out by telling us about your names. I know you both have multiple names, and maybe you could just tell us how you got those names, if they have any special meaning to you, and which names you use in which situations. Let's start with Michal.
Okay. Actually, I was born in Ethiopia, and my Ethiopian name is Tawkalich. Tawkalich, this is the name was given me by my parents, and in Ethiopian culture, you have multiple names. Your parents give you a name, your grandmother, your brothers. So my stick name, my main name, it's Tawkalich. Tawkalich is mean wise girl. I'm the youngest in the family from 9 brothers and sisters. So I think this is the vision that my parents had for me. And Tawkalich, it's a wise girl, smart girl. This is something that I take with me all the time. What does it mean? What is the name? And I have a Hebrew name. When I came to Israel in 1984 during Operation Moses, so the Israeli didn't know how to pronounce my name, Tawkalich. So unfortunately, I was given by my teacher the name. Even I like the name Michal. Michal, it's a name in the Bible, but this is the name was given me by one of the Ulpan teachers, Hebrew teachers in Avera, it's my family names, and Samuel is my marriage name.
And wait, before we go on to you, Telahun, I just want to ask Michal, so your family name was Avera. Was that in Ethiopia? Was that your family name also?
So in Ethiopia, it's interesting how family names been given. You are always follow your father's name. There is no family names. There is your grandparents' names. And women, my mom, she kept her family names. And I had my parents. This is my Avera. It's my grandparents' name. My father, his name is Melkenach. So in Ethiopia, I was called Tawkalich Melkenach by my father's name. There is no one main family's names. This is something very European things, I think this in Ethiopia, women had the power to keep their family names. They never changes when they get married. So my mom was Samonesh Zeleka. So she keep her family name. So only when we came to Israel, so they decided not the authority, the authority decided to create for family name. So because my father was still alive, so they choose my grandparents' name, Avera, Melkenach Avera. So Avera, it's our family names all over my brothers and everyone.
Okay, yeah,
But
and
this is very special feminist act that the women can keep their own family names and they don't have to adopt any other family name. So, so because of that, I added my husband's name for my kids and for myself, but I keep my Avera as a main family names.
okay, and so your husband's last name is Samuel, and you took that when you got married. Is your husband also from Ethiopia?
Yeah, my husband, he's also from Ethiopia, born in Ethiopia. He's Ethiopian-Israeli, did same process. He made Aliyah from Ethiopia during Operation Moses in 1984. Yeah.
Okay. And so it sounds like two of your four names are imposed on you from your immigration experience in Israel.
Definitely. But all of my names, because people didn't know how to pronounce Tawkalich, so I keep my name Michal, and then sometimes I don't have any emotional attach with the names. But I was lucky. I'm joking all the time. I'm joking about that. I'm lucky to have name Michal because Michal is a beautiful name. It's in the Bible. Because some of my family, they have Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Leah, all of the names from the Bible. So I do feel that my name is also representing the process of my immigration to Israel, my aliyah to Israel, my family's aliyah to Israel. It's reflecting the whole process, like what does it mean being Israeli, but being coming a newcomer to Israeli society, and a name, it's representing all of my identity, but I always keep telling people that my original name is Tawkalich. It's Michal, it's my Hebrew name.
So which would you prefer that I call you today?
Tawkalich. Tawkalich, it's my, yeah.
Okay, I will call you Tawkalich. And now we turn to Telahun. Please tell us your name stories.
Okay, so I got both my names, Telahun and Liad, from my parents. They wanted me to have both an Ethiopian name in Amharic, and they also wanted me to have a Hebrew name for when I'm in Israel. So Telahun, its meaning is my umbrella or my protector. So as the eldest kid in the family, they kind of wanted me to take on this protecting the family kind of role in the family, which I've grown into, and that's really the reason why they named me Telahun, and I've kind of grown into it. I make sure always that my sister and my brother are both all safe, all good. I make sure I treat them well, buy them all the stuff, like the older brother I am. And Liad is more of a connection to the parents. Is Liad? It's kind of two parts, so its meaning is mine forever. So my parents kind of connection that they will have me forever.
That's beautiful. So we have Tawkalich, wise girl, Telahun, protector, Liad, mine forever, and Michal from the Tanakh. That's beautiful. Which name would you prefer that I use for you, Telahun or Liad?
I personally do not have a preference. Whichever one you find easier to say, I'd say.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much. Very interesting names story. And do you use your names differently when you talk and write to different people?
For me, I use most of the time Michal, because I'm tired to explain people how to pronounce it most of the time, and if I want to make a statement or to make sure that people will understand me or my history, my tradition. So I say Tawkalich. I say both Tawkalich, but I found myself most of the time really saying both of the names. If it's his first time that I'm introducing myself and I'm in a space that people should know both of their names. So I always use both of the names.
And for me, I mostly use Liad because ever since I was younger, my family, my mom and my dad always called me Taltun. So it's kind of like a little nickname for Telahun, and all my friends kind of just used Liad because they couldn't really say it correctly. So I just kind of stuck with Liad, but I try my best to let people know that I have the two names. I have Telahun and Liad, and whenever I write to people, I say my full name, Telahun, Liad, and Samuel. So
Got it. Okay, so now we've heard about Tawkalich's immigration story a little bit. Let's turn to Telahun. What is your immigration story? You were born in Israel?
yeah, I was born and raised in Israel until I was around 15, and that's when I moved here to the United States.
And now you live in Ohio.
Yeah, now I live in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay. And so I'm assuming in your first 15 years, you spoke a combination of Hebrew and Amharic or just Hebrew?
So I personally only spoke Hebrew. The family, it was for me as a kid, I didn't really see the importance of learning Amharic, which was a little bit of a mistake by my part. But I only grew up learning Hebrew, and right now I am taking classes. I just came back from a class about learning Amharic. I'm trying my best to learn the language and have that connection with my parents. And it's going good for now, but I'm trying my best to stay consistent with it and slowly but surely learn the Amharic language.
Is that a class at your university?
No, my mom actually met a guy at one of her. You met.
He's a professional Amharic teacher, a professor teaching private and classes. So yeah, he's private study,
So
not in the
yeah.
university.
So
Unfortunately, this will be our goal to have a course in Amharic at the university.
hopefully, yeah. So my mom gave me the connection, and I decided to take it and start learning Amharic.
That's great. So growing up, you spoke Hebrew with your friends and your family. And then when
Yeah.
you moved to America at age 15, how did you learn English?
So I was uh I was really lucky to have a really good program in my class back in Israel. For my seventh and eighth grade years, they didn't like force us, but they kind of forced us to speak English in class. They were trying their best to make sure that we don't just like know how to write and know the words in English. They wanted also to be able to speak in English. So I was able to do that, and I was able to make some small talk, and from there I just kind of adapted while learning some other new stuff.
And when you moved to America, you started in school. Did you go to a Jewish school?
Yeah, I went to Columbus Torah Academy. It's the Jewish school that we have in here in Columbus. Luckily for me, there's a lot of guys in there that already knew how to speak Hebrew, while they either moved from Israel to Columbus, or when their parents have moved earlier and they knew how to speak Hebrew and kind of went down and made sure that their daughters and sons knew how to speak Hebrew. So I was lucky to also have that kind of connection to if I had any questions, if I didn't know a word in English, they were able to help me.
Oh, that's good. So you didn't grow up speaking Amharic, but did you grow up in exposed to Amharic in any way?
Yeah. So my mom always we have a holiday called Chag Sigd. It's a holiday where we go to back in Ethiopia, the origin of it, they went up to the tallest mountain in order to pray for them to come to Israel and get to Israel. They had the prayers, and then after that, they had a feast. They had food, traditional food, and my mom, but when they got to Israel, they kept the tradition going. They kept the tradition going. They went to a mountain in Jerusalem and had a little. They had, of course, the prayer, but they had a bunch of other little tents, so you can learn about the Ethiopian heritage of the Ethiopian Jews. And my mom, as you said, she was working at Fidel, so she had a tent in there. And ever since I was young, she always used to take me and teach me and kind of get me to go. And when I got older, I wanted to keep that tradition going, so I kept going with her. I missed the day of school, which is okay, and yeah.
Okay, so tell us what exposure you had to Amharic at that ceremony.
So to the Amharic language specifically, I had a couple, like my mom always taught me a couple of words. My mom and my dad, they always taught me govez, which like they always told me when I was doing something, it was like govez, like you're doing good job, like a hero and that. And they tried to teach me a little bit of the basic when I was younger, but I didn't. I'm like a kid. I didn't have the patience to do all of that. I was like, I already know Hebrew. Think I'll be fine. I didn't have the patience, so I knew a couple of basic words, but I didn't have too much of exposures to it. But I do know about a lot about the about the traveling that they did all the way from Ethiopia to Israel, to from Ethiopia to Sudan first, and about their travels.
And so tell us more about the Sigd ceremony. So you mentioned attending those as a child in Israel, but in what ways was Amharic used? Were there songs? Were there prayers? Was there also Ge'ez, another language that's used ceremonially ritually by Ethiopian Jews?
Yeah, so I wasn't specifically at the prayers. I was helping my mom set up the learning centers that she had. There was also she invited a group of couple people from a couple of the Fidel centers that she had as dancers to dance for traditional Amharic music and have a little show. So other people who visited because they've heard about it and want to know about the Ethiopian Jews. So she had a ceremony of uh traditional Amharic dances, and I was trying my best to kind of know about that. She taught her and my dad taught me a few moves, so I can. So if for some reason I go to an Amharic party with them, or I just decide to go, I know a couple moves up my sleeve. So
Nice. And Tawkalich, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that was important for us as a parent is how our kid can learn about our tradition and history, beside learning about our journey from Ethiopia to Israel on the life in the village, how our community kept 2050 years the tradition and the culture. And the Sikh holiday, it was celebrated 50 days after Yom Kippur, commemorating the the mourning for Jerusalem, and to be part of praying to be part of the Israel to Jewish community back to Israel, and for this holiday, it was important for us to talk about the Kesim Tfilot, how the Kesim pray brought us here to Israel, because as a young child, I remember when the whole family is coming from the Fort Sigd in Ambover, and we were living next to Ambover. So I remember all my cousins coming to this holiday and walking with stones to the holiday. So it was really important for me to educate the next generation to learn about the tefillot, the prayer of Kesim. What does Kesim mean? Their Ethiopian rabbi, and the songs, and telling the journey, the story of journey. Our tent back in Jerusalem, it was really to educate not only the Ethiopian community and the Israeli community to learn more about Haksik, the meaning, show the heroes, our leaders in the community. This was a part of really to go to bring my kids to my work and my life, to just to introduce them the culture, and not only to talk, just to make sure they are sitting and doing tashbetzim. I don't know how it's called. It's like find the word about Sigd, about Ethiopian tradition, holidays, names. This was the most important for me, besides give them two names, just to walk the tradition in our life, and in our knowing that saying Govez or Nepsu or Jagnau, those words, that's encouraging word in here in Amharic, that Nepsu, it's you're my soul, my neshama. Jagnau, you are really one of the top hero. Those words in Amharic, it is reflecting the encouragement and the culture, and then and you have to know that Ethiopian culture is always been taught by oral and also by short words, pidgamim. How do you say pidgamim? It's express and word with poem, or with hiding word. You can tell story with saying only one word, and this is how I learned. This is what I've been exposed. My father, he was one of my heroes, saying, "Lije Govez, my daughter, you are so wonderful and great." Those things that I'm passing to my kids, to make sure that they will learn and be grounded with their ancestor stories and roots as Ethiopian-Israeli, as a Beta Israel.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Tawkalich, how old were you when you moved to Ethiopia? I mean, from Ethiopia to
Israel. We left Ethiopia when I was 8 years old. We walked from Ethiopia to Sudan. We walked about 6 weeks. During the night, we were hiding from the robbers and from Ethiopian soldiers, because it's illegal to leave Ethiopia in those times. And then we stay at the refugee camp in Sudan a year. After a year, like I moved to Israel. We met Liad to Israel on when I was already, I think, nine years old. Yeah, it was very how to say it, unique experience. As a kid, we had a dream. We heard about the story about Jerusalem, about the Holy Land, and we were so excited to be in Jerusalem, and even we didn't know what is Israel about. And even we had, like, I remember as a kid, we never complained when we walked. We were at the front line and just happy to be. And I remember when we were in Sudan in a refugee camp, it was how far it is. Like, you promise us Holy Land, honey and milk, and very sweet, everyone's religion, and then it's but it was far away. It was the long way to wait and to suffer, and to see all of the Beta Israel, close to 4,000 people was died during this journey. It was hard situation to stay in the refugee camp in Sudan, and at the same time we didn't lost our faith to be in Jerusalem, to be in the Holy Land, and it was a dream come true for my family. And when we flew, I thought we are going to fly. We are flying on the wings of angel to Jerusalem. So it was really wonderful experience to see when we landed, to see my family and my parents falling down, kissing the ground, and happy to be in Jerusalem. And they just forgot to tell us it was Lud, Ben Green airport, not really quite Jerusalem. But it's yeah. Yeah, for me, it's the new journey began when we landed to Jerusalem, to Lod. Yeah.
Wow. And so Telahun, it sounds like this story of immigration was a big part of your childhood. You said that you learned about it growing up, and also experienced the Sieged holiday. So what else did you gather from your family's Amharic? You mentioned the word goved, meaning hero, or you're doing a good job. What other words, what other heritage words do you have from Amharic?
So as in words, not as much, but we do have a traditional meal that we do every Shabbos or every Saturday. So we get together, all the family, we go and get dabo, which is the traditional Ethiopian bread, and agwa, which is it's shamenet, and
It's a kind of cheese, sour cheese that we are using special with salad and with.
And we get together, we do the kiddush with grape juice, and then we do a moti with the dabo, and we just kind of have that tradition of every Saturday, and we keep it going in here. It's a little something that we picked up, and hopefully I'll be able to one day, I'll hopefully do it in my own house.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are words. So dabo and agua. And I'm struck by the combination of Hebrew and Amharic. Like when you first mentioned the Sieged holiday, Telahun, you said Chag Sieged. And so I'm assuming that's a combination of the Hebrew word Chag and the Sieged that you took with you from Ethiopia, that your families took with you. And then also Tawkalich, when you said kes, you pluralized it with the Hebrew im, kesim. Is that how it's also said in Amharic, or is that specific?
No, this is we should say kesoch. Kesoch. It's an Amharic. It's kesoch. That's but kesim is just something that we always combine between Amharic and Hebrew. It's kesim. No, it's not kesim. It's kesoch. It's the one, the rabbi, the Ethiopian rabbi. There is a lot of word that we are using both in Amharic and Hebrew that we use. Gove, Sanana. There is a word that we are only use it in our family as a teasing each other, and saying, and this is important thing to combine both of them, because Hebrew, it's just, I was young, and also one of the thing that's why my kid doesn't know he Amharic, it because Ethiopian community coming from village, not all of them they knew how to write and read even in Amharic. So for me, I was when I even I knew how to write and read in Amharic when I came to Israel. It took me a while to understand that how important to keep my language and my culture, because in the Israeli school system, they never encourage us to keep our tradition or our language. They told us you have to be Israeli. I don't know now what it means to be Israeli. We are so multicultural and diverse society. So they keep told us, educated us, not to keep the language, speak Hebrew, that to be assimilated to Israeli society. And at the age of, I think, 16, 17 or above, I realized that how it's important to go back and to keep the language and the tradition. And it's not, we don't want to be assimilate, we want to be integrate, to keep our tradition and to keep our heritage. This is, I think this is the battle or challenge we have as a second generation or the middle generation, of really challenge to be integrated to the Israeli society, to be part of the Israeli society, and challenging, facing all of those challenges of prejudice, racism, and other challenges of cultural differerences, and helping parents. With that, it was really hard to keep teach ourselves and our kid the languages beside Hebrew. So now we feel like, I feel how it's important and invest on his education to keep learn the languages that it's part of our culture, beside the knowing that we keep our holidays and our cultures. And the Shabbat tradition, I teach a lot that the Jewish community is so diverse. The challah, it is something that European things been adopted. So if you see, you can see many other cultures that they have their own tradition. The dabo, it is the way that I bake the dabo with my daughter, and lighting the candle, nerot, and then having the Shabbat ceremony with the dabo, with the fitfit, with the salad, and speak blessing. Sometimes my husband bless in Ge'ez, and beside both of this, I think it is show my kids, our kids, how it's important to keep the tradition. Having dabo as an Ethiopian community, the Yemeni has the kubane, and others have their own things. So this is richness of our community, our society, to bring the culture not only in family. So we are bringing to our community even here in Columbus.
That's beautiful. Tawkalich, what made you more interested at age 16 in your ancestral language and culture?
When I was young?
Yeah, you said around age 16 you got more interested in it and realized the importance of keeping Amharic alive in your family.
I think because I realized that when I ask I was sent to the boarding school. So in Israel, most of the Ethiopian kids been sent to the boarding school. So I didn't grow up among my parents learning it. So I saw the gap between me learning very Ashkenazi version of halachot, tradition, and Shabbat and prayer, and I didn't find all of those prayer of my parents or the kesim, the rabbi, in my synagogues in school, and when I went back home, I was exposed to the tradition I knew, the having double, having injera, having injera. It's the Ethiopian bread, Ethiopian food, eating all of those here in home, and speaking the language with my parents and going to their shul, speaking with the kesim, and doing a lot of tradition among the family. And when I went back to school, I was like very empty and lonely sometimes, not knowing my tradition. It's not keeping and this is cool. So I realized that if I'm not gonna keep it and I combine both of those tradition, it's gonna be disappear.
Mm.
And from there, like I was very intentionally learning, reading books in Amharic, speaking with my family and friends Amharic, and alongside of the Hebrew, and make sure that I knew some of the event that the community organized, that we should be there to keep tradition. I think this is something that in the very early age, we're understanding that we are in different position as a kid, because our parents, they didn't have the ability, language and cultural adaptation to educate us or to keep our tradition. So we, as a kid, we make a decision to continue our culture. I make a decision that I have to fight for my family, because I knew how much they sacrificed to be in Israel and to be in Jerusalem and not being honored or celebrated in their history in the Israeli curriculum or history, and being seen as a weak, like and being we brought you, we did for you, we did. So I took an action to make sure that my community and my family will be celebrated and will be acknowledged in the Israeli society. This is what I did when I was CEO, and I think it just starts there. And when I was in the 16 and making decision that this will be my one of my mission, shlichut in life, to educate others about Ethiopian Israeli community and heritage and history, that we have leaders, we have rabbis, we have guidance, we keep the tradition many years. We face anti-Semitism back in Ethiopia, and we didn't came to Israel because it was hard in Ethiopia, because we were Zionists. We believe that we are belonging to the Holy Land as other Jewish people around the world. So it took a while, it took time, but due to our activist leaders, we made it. Our prayer, I'm a seventh generation of family of Kesim in my family. So this is something that we are not gonna be forget.
Wow. So is your dad a Kes?
No, my dad, this is past my dad, but my cousins, they are Kesim. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you
Yeah.
come from a rabbinic line, and Telahun, does that make you want to become a rabbi or a Kes?
I don't think that's gonna be in my. I just don't. I don't see it right now happening, but I mean, you never know. You never know where life takes you. So
That's right. You're studying engineering, right?
yeah, computer science.
Got it. Okay. And Telahun, it sounds like your mom has done so much to raise awareness about Ethiopian traditions in Israel and also in the US. How do you see that playing out in the US? In your community in Columbus, Ohio, for example, do you have a Sigd celebration?
So we don't have the same Sig celebration that we used to have in Israel, but my mom always every year goes through Zoom because when we got here it was through COVID, or she has this year for Sig she has went to the school and taught about the Jewish community that we have here about Sig. So that's kind of been our tradition for Sig, then kind of keep it going. So we teach the Jews that we have here in the United States more about the Ethiopian Jews tradition, and it's been going pretty amazing. And I try my best to help also my friends with any questions that they have. When I got here, they weren't really as educated as they are now, so they had a couple of questions about SIG, and I was always ready to answer them with proud being proud about my own heritage.
Nice. Are there also other Ethiopian Jews in Columbus?
So from what I know, there's not Ethiopian Jews in Columbus. I do know half Ethiopian, so an Ethiopian Jew, but it's only uh half. So his mom is Ethiopian, and then his dad is not Ethiopian. I know about there's one family in Cleveland, but I don't except those people. The closest one I think is in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Silver
Oh,
Spring.
Disney. Yeah.
In Silver Spring, we met them not too like 2 years ago. My mom knew the parents, so we met them 2 years ago.
So it's a very different experience than some of the other people I've interviewed who have grown up in communities where there were many people from their immigrant community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an adjustment, but I mean, in Israel, it was kind of the same. I went to a public school with mostly just Israeli kids who I knew a couple of Ethiopian Jews because of my mom, of course, working in Fidel and other family friends, but I was always kind of, I guess you could say, odd one out, but I was it was fine by me. I was a good kid. I was a bright kid. I was always just looking at positively, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I can do my best and trying to teach them about where I come from, and back there they. I had a couple of good friends in Israel who were. I had one friend who was Russian, so he taught me about his heritage. I had a couple of other friends who were just uh very curious about my own heritage. So I mean, it was fine. It was okay by me. I was just trying to keep the positivity, and that's really it.
Nice. So you've both mentioned a bunch of words. I want to ask about some of these words. So at one point, Tawkalich said the word sanana, and Telahun, I want to know what that means. I want you to tell me what that means.
So it's not usually like it's usually used while we're doing something something yeah something silly, something not good. So my mom says ante sanana, which ante means you, and sanana no exactly translation, but ever since I was young I knew that meant I was doing something wrong, so I was like sorry slicha said them it's okay, so that's kind of how I see it. The second she said sanana, I'm like I got myself in some trouble.
Oh, okay. And apologies. How would you define sanana?
Yeah, it's the way that you passing a message without being angry in your own language when your kid is doing something silly or not. So sanana, it's just like you're doing something not nice. And even in my work and everywhere, like this is my word, sanana, like be straight, do and it just became something that we are using to straight things in our home, and in a good way, in fun way, and knowing that this is the message is passed. Yeah. So.
And Telahun, can you imagine yourself in the future using that with your children?
Sanana, I can see myself using it, but then trying to and then explaining it to them, and it's just I can see myself using it. I don't know exactly how often, but I can see myself using it in the future, and hopefully they
You're
want
using
to.
with your brothers and
Yeah, I
your
use it a lot
sisters,
with I use
come
it
on.
I use it a lot with my siblings. I'll be like,
And your friend too.
my friends, yeah, it's just a force of habit at this point. So I kind of just regularized it over into my own figure of speech. So
you use that word when you're talking to your siblings. How many siblings do you have?
I have one sister and one brother,
Okay,
both
and
younger than me.
and so when you and you're the protector, so you have to
Yeah,
take a
yeah, I have to make sure everything is in check. Have to make sure they're doing their things right, and so
and so you
sometimes I use it a little bit. So.
and you said you also use it with your friends. Can you give us an example of how that might play out?
So like so I have a lot of really good friends that I have. So occasionally I think of them as like my siblings. I think about it as brothers, because they're so close to me. So sometimes I slip it just like a little bit. I slip accidentally and be like, and it slips me out. And they're like, "What'd you say? What'd you say?" And I'm like, it's just Ethiopia. It's just an Amharic word. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So
And are these friends Jewish or not Jewish?
Jewish.
Uh-huh.
I'm Jewish. Yeah, I have a lot. I have a lot of friends here in the Jewish community. So a lot of them I've grown really close to. So
That's great. I love that you're sharing not only your traditions like Sigd, but also some of your words. And it sounds like you also do a lot of Ethiopian traditions over Shabbat. Do you ever have friends over for Shabbat and share the dabo and the fitfit and the agua with them?
So, the agua specifically, I haven't had the opportunity quite yet, but a lot of my friends have tried the dabo. A lot of my friends also have tried the injera. So injera is kind of a flat bread, and you use it with traditional sauces that we have. You put it in, you pick it up with your hand, pick a piece, eat it with it. You sometimes have it with siga, which is traditional meat that my mom makes, and I've had them try it. As of right now, we didn't have any bad reviews. They both like the dabo and they like the injera, so it's always good to hear. I always try my best, but agua not quite yet.
Yeah, well, I guess
We also we
Shabbat because of kashrut, right? You wouldn't have the dairy with the meat.
Yeah, no.
I know we don't miss. We on Shabbat it's only the double with the fit. So we keep kosher. So it's not. It's the injera. It's just a different way of meals, but it's also one of the things about double that this is a beautiful tradition and hosting family and friends every time. Like in Sukkah, I was part of the Midwest Sukkah hub, and we host Ethiopian tradition Sukkah, and we brought I bake a dabo. We talk about dabo, we talk about our tradition, how we keep sukkah in Ethiopia and in Israel. So dabo, it's a kind of bread that we bake every special occasion. So when we host for Rosh Hashanah. When we host in different friend gathering, Jewish and non-Jewish. So I bake the dabo, and my husband bake the dabo, and we introduce the community, introduce to the people what does it mean, and then how it's important to getting together and eating dabo as a part of feeding the community, feeding the and hosting the community. This is one of the beautiful things that we are always will be representing through this, through food, through dabo and others, and coffee ceremony. Buna, we didn't talk about the buna that we have. The buna, the coffee ceremony that we always do here at home as a part of our tradition, Saturday night or any other occasion that we had the buna ceremony or coffee ceremony in our house with friends and family. This is yeah.
And is that ceremony conducted in Ge'ez or in Amharic, or it's
just... it's in Amharic. It's in Amharic. It's in
Mhm.
Amharic. Buna, it's the coffee. It's the how we roast the beans and the whole ceremony, and the how many times the beans serve the buna, the coffee. It's the 3 round that we have the coffee served. It's beautiful the way that the coffee ceremony. It's just the time getting together to discuss, to consult, to share stories. This has been really one of the tools that been used in Ethiopia in a village, that women can get together and have buna together. That they didn't have any psychology or any guidance. So this was the women, when the men go to the field work, they used to get together and just get conversation and get consulting and help from each other and share from each other, and just can take a long time, like hours, sitting there eating and having discussion. Yeah, this is one, and I did some of those tradition, buna tatu, come and drink buna workshop to the community here and outside, to share through this what is the feminist act it is, and then how it is help each other, and help to create community to support each other. So there is a lot of tradition in the Ethiopian community tradition that bring people together and help each other, and the orientation of the communities just helping each other, and no one's just left behind in any case in a community. This is something that's been reheld also in Israel for many ways. Even it's a modern country, and it's where we are spread around the country, but it's still the community has a really powerful way to support each other. If it's in a wedding, if it's a funeral, it's in any other celebration occasion, how community come together to support and help each other by cooking together, by bringing things together, by driving from Beersheba to I don't know, Tel Aviv and other country around the country. So it's just some important thing that I feel like we need to continue. This is on our shoulder. I feel it's just continue the tradition, and then because we didn't have a lot of written history, this is our way to make sure that our tradition will exist for many years to come.
Beautiful. And are there any Amharic songs that are part of these rituals, either the Buna or Shabbat or Sukkot or Sigd, anything? Do you have any Amharic songs that are part of these rituals?
Sigd, one of the songs that we used to sing, it's Shmela Shmela. Shmela Shmela, Garachin Jerusalem Dehna. This is the Shmela, it's the Chasida. Chasida the rock, how this is called, how do you say shmela, chasida?
No.
Throat. And I don't know the word in Hebrew, how it's called. Shmela. Shmela, it is the bird, the yona that the Hasidah that we used to sing for her, that bring us a letter or a note from Jerusalem. If it's Jerusalem, it's okay. Shmela, Shmela, Agarachin Jerusalem Dehna. This is the song that we used to sing a lot when I was young, and during the holidays, during Shabbat, this is my song as a kid, and then also that because again the history been told by oral, so I always hear the prayer of the Kesi, but in Ge'ez. So
and tell us more about Ge'ez. It's how does it compare to Amharic?
So Ge'ez, it's a ancient language that only the Kesim know how to read in the Bible. This is written in the Bible, and they used to read and translate it to the Amharic. It's a really different language and ancient language that no one's really know beside the Kesim, the rabbi, the Kesoch know only that they used to pray, and it's a really unique sound, and it's a little bit it's sound Aramic, Amharic. It's those kind in Hebrew a little bit. It's this combination of the languages that really knowing by the Ethiopian Jew reading the Kesim, the Kesoch. It's they knew how to read it and translate it and pray.
And you mentioned that your husband recites a prayer or blessing in Ge'ez on Friday night. Tell us more about that.
I think one of the things that my husband, he didn't know how to read and write in Amharic when he came to Israel. And one of the amazing things he did, he's an engineer, and he worked at a high-tech company. And one of the things that's amazing to learn from him is how he educated himself in Amharic and knowing reading and writing in Amharic also. Because he was in village that they didn't want to work school, so he was the when he came to Israel, not knowing anything, write and read in Amharic in any language, he educated himself and learned the Hebrew and became engineer, learn Amharic, writing in Hebrew. And one of the things he starts really practicing and learning how to bless in Ge'ez. And sometimes like it's really important in Shabbat to say both of those blessing and in Ge'ez and in Hebrew and in Amharic. Yeah.
Do either of you know that blessing in Ge'ez?
We don't know, and we know that it's a blessing, and it's like we know what it means. But that this is something that we know how to translate it in Amharic or in Hebrew, because we learn it. But this is not something that daily things that we are practicing, because it is really tough, difficult language to learn, and spiritual. I feel like it is you have to be really mindful and respectful to learn and to be in a place to use those words in a daily base. So I think I feel like it's highly spiritual when I hear my cousin Ephraim Lowy blessing in Ge'ez or other case that really using those words, it's a spiritual, so powerful, so meaningful that no one has as a gift to use those words beside those like honor those respect and a kavod that they learn Ge'ez and using the Ge'ez as a prayer, as a practice.
Mm-hmm. So we're almost out of time, but I want to leave the last minute or two for you, both of you, to tell us anything else that you haven't yet shared.
I think you can share about your experience learning in Israel in secular school and coming here in America, study all the Gemara, Mishnah, and knowing that this is a new experience for you.
Okay, so when I first moved here, we had a choice between two schools. So I've been learning in Israel on a secular school, a non-religious school, just a public school like everybody usually does. And when we came here, COVID happened. We came here the year after the COVID crisis happened. So we were left with a difficult choice. Either go to the local public high school that was there and learn through Zoom for my first maybe like 2 to 3 months of me first coming to America, or decide to go to the Jewish school who will do in class, like you'd go to the school, you'd learn like a regular high school. So it was a really difficult choice, and we ended up deciding to go to, of course, the religious Jewish school. And for me, it was a little bit of a switch because of course, I had my own encounters with the religion, but in here in the United States, I've what I've thought when I went to Jewish school, I thought that it was gonna be just learning Gemara and Chumash a lot. Everybody wearing the black kippas, the hats, wearing full on suits, making sure they show up all good. But in here, it was almost like I was in a regular high school. Of course, they still had the Gemara and the Chumash periods of study, but the school itself kind of gave me a different point of view about the modern Orthodox Jews that are living in the United States. They were kids just like me, played video games, played sports, but they also kept Shabbos, they kept kosher, they tried their best to learn as much, and they even had programs of learning after school for kids who wanted to learn a little bit more about the halachas, a little bit more about what it means to be a Jew in America, and it kind of enlightened me about how much different it is from where in Israel all there is either there's extremely religious Jews or there's secular Jews. Like there's no in between. And when we got here, I kind of found that in between in this community that's really awesome. They accepted me and they helped me even though they knew that I wasn't religious. They still accepted me to the school, helped me with however much they can, and still invited me over to like Shabbos meals and still invited me over to hang out with them on Shabbos, and it kind of helped me kind of transfer into the community in here very quickly and very easily. I think it was really gave me a different point of view and helped me realize a little bit more about the like Jewish religion. Kind of helped me more understand about it.
That's beautiful. And so it sounds like both of you had similar experiences of born in one country, moving to another country, and into
Yeah.
into your new society, but at the same time maintaining elements of your ancestral cultures and what makes you distinct and special.
Yeah.
It's so funny that how my childhood been duplicated through my kids here, being in a modern Orthodox school and learning something new, learning about the whole religions studies, and combine both of those. I think the biggest change or difference between my kid and myself is that now I am strong enough to navigate their life, their study. I am there to guide them and to protect them and help them to understand the change, the life, and combine both of those. In my case, no one was there to guide me between being Orthodox and religions and everything that coming to the Israeli society. I think I learned a lot by myself. I been born by myself, and I tried and create my own path, and somehow it's guided me to be the voice of others and including my kids. I think this is the difference that between my kids going through all of those changes and tradition. And I think because of that, it's much easier for them to be adjust to the American society or the Jewish community here and being accepted and really being part of a shlichim here as a people of color, as a Jewish, as a Ethiopian Israeli, as a minority, and to the minority group here in a society and a community. I think this is the message that I always feel that's important for me, to where we can bring impact in our life in surround us. And there is a lot of challenge. This been last year, it's been more than challenge for everybody. But as an Israeli, as an Ethiopian Israeli, as here as a Jew, it's been a really rough year. But I think my point always, my perspective about life, about my mission in life, is how I can educate others to learn more about their environment, their and who they are and who I am, and what can be taught and bring impact to make sure that my world can be better, our world can be better for the second generation and then in the future kids.
That's wonderful. And I know that you're doing that, Tawkalich, in your work. Can you tell us a little bit about the children's books that you're working on?
So I'm working at the University of Wisconsin-Madison doing research and developing curriculum for early childhood education, reflecting diversity in the Jewish community. One of the things I learned is that really people doesn't know much about the richness and diversity in the Jewish community. One of the things we are doing at the Shalom Curriculum Project is create educational play materials that through those educational play material, you can educate teachers and kids about diversity in the Jewish community, showing images in the book that show diverse of the Jewish community. They are not only European Jew, white, and there is other Jew around the world that kids need to see their image in those books. In those educational play materials, image at school, books reflecting and representing their culture and history. This is one thing that we are doing. We are teaching, doing teacher training, how to talk their own kids about in school about the diversity in the Jewish community through books, dolls, and songs. And Bakin Dabo, Chala, and Kubane, and you name it, that so much richness in our culture, in our history as a Jewish community, that we need to educate young generation to reduce anti-Semitism, bring awareness, and really reducing prejudice against minority group and the Jewish community. This is my mission at the university.
That's wonderful. And I should also mention that you're a board member of the Jewish Language Project, our advisory board. So thank you for that. And I want to thank both of you for all that you're doing, both in this interview and in your lives, to raise awareness about the beautiful tapestry of the Jewish people.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It is
you.
a really honor to be part of this beautiful, beautiful project. And it's just part of the mission to teach the world, the Jewish community about languages and cultures. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, well, thank you again and have a great day.
Thank you.